resource utilization. The company, DeepSeek, trained all its models using less advanced NVIDIA chips, thereby showcasing significant engineering innovation. It used what is called the NVIDIA H100 chips, which are inferior in generation and in quality to the H800 chips, which are used by other companies. And significantly, this company took an open source approach to generative AI. DeepSeek's R1 mode is open source. What it does is it allows users and companies and developers to modify and to integrate this into other tools, fostering broader adoption and innovation. It's a bit like what Android did when operating systems came into the market for smartphones. So, what is the comparison between DeepSeek's R1 model and OpenAI and ChatGPT? DeepSeek offers its AI assistant for free, whereas OpenAI has a subscription-based model where you have to pay up to $200 a year. The performance benchmark tests indicate that DeepSeek's R1 mode matches or sometimes even surpasses that of OpenAI when it comes to a series of tasks including problem solving, natural language understanding. So what may be the implications for the tech industry? DeepSeek's rapid ascent has caused significant disruptions in the tech world. It has led to substantial declines in the stock values of major companies like NVIDIA and Microsoft. NVIDIA, which makes these super chips and GPUs, lost more than $500 billion in its market value in just one trading day. This rise of a Chinese AI app has raised concerns about the potential shift of AI dominance from the United States to China. The recent model DeepSeek V3 reportedly operates using just about 2,000 NVIDIA chips, which is significantly fewer than the 16,000 chips that are typically used by OpenAI or Google. This breakthrough has been called AI's Sputnik moment by venture capitalist Mark Anderson. Sputnik was, of course, the first satellite that the USSR put into orbit, put into space, much before America started developing its own space program. What he was trying to reference was the potential of DeepSeek R1 to disrupt what is the status quo in the world of AI. DeepSeek's ability to develop a world-class AI model using less advanced hardware and at a much lower cost demonstrates significant engineering prowess. The company's emphasis on efficiency and accessibility has enabled it to deliver a competitive product without the kind of extensive resources that are typically required in this industry. But it's not all a bed of roses. DeepSeek has faced criticism for censoring topics which are sensitive to the Chinese government. Users have reported that the app avoids or gives evasive answers to questions about events like the Tiananmen Square incident in 1989 or even issues related to Taiwan's sovereignty. Even questions related to India and China when it comes to disputed territories or the clashes that have happened recently between India and China, the app gives evasive answers. Now, this behavior aligns with Chinese regulations which mandate the censorship of politically sensitive subjects. The success of DeepSeek is viewed as a significant development in the global AI landscape, potentially signaling a shift in tech leadership. The app's rapid ascent has led to substantial decline in the stock values of major American companies, whether it's NVIDIA, Microsoft, Tesla. Collectively, in just one trading day, they lost over $1 trillion in market value. DeepSeek's advancements have intensified the technological competition between America and China. The app's development at a fraction of the cost incurred by American tech giants challenges the effectiveness of US export controls. It raises very serious questions about the future balance of technological power. Since 2022, under the previous Biden administration, America has restricted the export of high-capacity chips to China. What it did is it forced Chinese companies like DeepSeek to innovate. They also used older generation chips imported from Singapore to build their hardware models. DeepSeek's achievements could ignite a global race in competitive AI development. That would prompt other countries like India, for example, to accelerate their own technological advancements if they want to remain competitive. The emergence of DeepSeek may also prompt American policymakers to reassess their strategies when it comes to tech competition and trade relations with China. While there is no direct indication from China that it's trying to send a specific signal to President Donald Trump as he assumes office in his second term, The situation underscores the need for America to evaluate its approach if it wants to continue to be the technology leader of the world. Trump has threatened 10% tariffs on China starting the 1st of February. He may even consider upping that from 10 to 25% given the strategic signaling from China on generative AI. It may not be a coincidence, or maybe it is, that DeepSeek's R1 model, which has now disrupted the tech world entirely, was released on the same day that Trump took oath for a second term as president. It could also lead Trump to tighten the screws on the so-called tech bros led by his Dodge chief, the owner of X and Tesla, Elon Musk, as well as others like Google's Sundar Pichai, Microsoft's Satya Nadella, Amazon's Jeff Bezos, all of whom were there at his inauguration. Trump, just a day after the inauguration, announced a $500 billion Stargate AI strategic fund. It is the largest single biggest commitment of funds that has been made by any government or private entity for developing AI. DeepSeek's cost-effective model, though, may force Trump to rethink committing such a large amount of money. US technology companies are likely to respond to DeepSeek's emergence by exploring more cost-effective methods to develop AI. They would also potentially consider open source models which will foster innovation. The situation may also lead to increased collaboration between the tech industry and policymakers to address challenges posed by international competition by powers like China in the field of artificial intelligence. So the man behind this DeepSeek R1 model is Liang Wenfeng. He is the one who built this model. He's the owner of the company. It has stunned tech world insiders and it has rattled nerves on Wall Street. Liang Wenfeng, though, has emerged as a dark horse in this industry. Some are even calling him China's Sam Altman. He grew up in the 1980s in a fifth-tier city in the Guangdong province. His father was a primary school teacher. He received his undergraduate and graduate degrees from the Zhejiang University, one of China's oldest and best-ranked universities. Back in 2015, Liang and two of his classmates from the Zhejiang University created a quantitative hedge fund called the Ningbo High Flyer, which used mathematic models and AI for investment strategies. In 2023, he began work on DeepSeek as an offshoot of High Flyer. It was a hobby and not a profession. The aim was to develop artificial general intelligence, or a level of AI that matches that of human intelligence. Liang recently told the media that he created DeepSeek because of scientific curiosity and not necessarily for immediate financial returns. But his company, even though it was a side hustle, even though it was a hobby of sorts, has resulted in the largest sell-off that the markets have seen in a single day since the 2008 global financial crisis. And this on the back of the Chinese AI firm DeepSeek. Nvidia, which is one of the largest chip makers in the world, saw the biggest erosion in its market capitalization in a single day in US history. Nvidia dropped 17% of its stock price. That's $500 billion of its market capitalization wiped out in a single trading session. It's not just Nvidia, other chip makers, whether it's Intel, AMD, even big tech companies like Microsoft and Meta, declined over 600 points, eventually the Nasdaq declining 600 points in one single trading session. Nvidia's shares were up 3% in extended trading. The S&P 500 also fell 1.5% after recovering from the lows. Tech sector titans eventually saw a group decline of almost $1 trillion evaporate in just one session. And just a week after its launch, DeepSeek became the most downloaded app in the United States, both on Android Store and also on the Apple App Store. That rapid ascent to the top of the App Store has prompted deep concerns in Silicon Valley. US President Donald Trump has reacted to this and said that this should be a wake-up call for American tech industries.
The release of DeepSeek AI from a Chinese company should be a wake-up call for our industries that we need to be laser focused on competing to win, because we have the greatest scientists in the world. Even Chinese leadership told me that. They said you have the most brilliant scientists in the world in Seattle and various places, but Silicon Valley, they said, there's nobody like those people. This is very unusual when you hear a DeepSeek, when you hear somebody come up with something. We always have the ideas, we're always first. So I would say that's a positive. That could be very much a positive development. So instead of spending billions and billions, you'll spend less and you'll come up with hopefully the same solution.
All right, so the Chinese-built AI app DeepSeek seems to have taken the tech world by storm. It has certainly demolished the market value of a number of tech giants, US-based tech giants, Nvidia being top of it, one of the largest chip makers in the world. Its market value was destroyed by 500 billion just in one trading session. Big tech companies, Google, Microsoft, etc., even Elon Musk's Tesla have lost a substantial amount of value because of this new discovery, this Chinese AI app called DeepSeek, which is giving a run for its money to these tech giants and also to companies like OpenAI, who have invested tens of billions of dollars in building their generative AI model. The Chinese DeepSeek is claiming to have done that at 1/100th the cost. So what is the hype all about? Is this really the breakthrough technology that the world is making out to be? How does this change generative AI? And most importantly, where is India in this race for AI global dominance? Joining us now is Mr. Rajeev Chandrasekhar, former Minister for Information Technology and Electronics in Mr. Modi's government. Thank you very much, Mr. Chandrasekhar, for speaking with us. First of all, what do you make of this DeepSeek? I mean, there's so much hype around it. I said, in one trading session, big tech companies have lost huge amounts of value. Is this really the breakthrough technology that is going to upend our worlds?
No, Zakka, so thank you for covering this story. I think this is not about new technology, Zakka. It is this Chinese company, in a sense, demolishing the assumption that AI, progress in AI and innovation in AI somehow depends on billions of dollars of AI compute infrastructure. And that is the narrative that has been out there, that the American companies have access to more capital and more GPUs and infrastructure, and therefore they will naturally be the leaders of AI in the coming years, is what they believed in and what they caused the world to believe in. Now, these group of youngsters from China in DeepSeek have really upended that assumption, and they've essentially shown the world, much to the cost of the world, $1.5 trillion of cost precisely last day's meltdown, that it takes a lot more than just compute infrastructure. It requires high quality data sets and also the real innovation in algorithms that they have built. Now, all of the facts about DeepSeek, where they got this capability, where they got the infra, is not clear to most of the world, being Chinese and inscrutable and all of that. But certainly they have signaled to OpenAI, Microsoft, Grok, Perplexity, and all of these big leaders in the West that there is a way to do AI and cutting edge frontier AI with far less capital, 1/10, 1/15 of the capital that these Western companies are using. So it is certainly a wake up call to those who believe that it is money and capital investment that was going to determine the winners and losers. DeepSeek says no, it is going to be also about innovation, data sets, algorithms, and a more effective way of using infrastructure that will determine winners. So we will see. These are early days, Zakka. We should not necessarily jump the gun and say the winners have been pronounced and the losers have lost. These are early days, but certainly there is a new dimension to any discourse of AI that was not there 5 days ago.
So you did mention, because it's Chinese and it's inscrutable, there have been concerns that netizens have raised when you ask DeepSeek questions about, let's say, what happened in Tiananmen Square or what happened in the India-China war in 1962. It doesn't give you a clear answer. It gives you evasive answers. How concerned should the world be about Chinese censorship when it comes to this app?
Look, Zakka, I think every model is going to be as intelligent or as correct or incorrect as it is trained, with biases or without biases. That applies to Google Gemini, it applies to OpenAI's ChatGPT, it applies to Claude. Any model, any LLM that today powers an AI platform is essentially as good or as bad as what it's been trained, how it's been trained. Now, it is clear that many models have biases, whether they're unconsciously, inadvertently there, deliberately there. So biases are built into these models inadvertently or deliberately. And so certainly a Chinese model, I'm sure, I have not asked this question of DeepSeek yet, saying is Taiwan a part of China? I'm pretty sure that DeepSeek will say yes, Taiwan is a part of China, is a province of China. And if you ask DeepSeek, I'm sure about 1962 war, they will certainly not spit out that China got a bloody nose in the 62 war. So those biases are to be expected. But I think the issue is not that as much as the fundamental core technology, the algorithms and the data sets that have been used to create performance, AI performance in DeepSeek that is comparable to or better than the existing ChatGPT and Gemini and Llama models in the US, and they are better in terms of AI benchmarks, but better at far lower cost. And that is the headline news. It's not so much about the accuracy, inaccuracy, the biases, the lack of bias. That's a separate conversation,
Okay.
Zakka. The fact that DeepSeek has managed to achieve this at a fraction of the cost and investment that the American models have done so is the reason why the world is suddenly waking up to this new reality that there is an alternate model to AI and artificial intelligence and artificial general and super intelligence.
So I want to ask you one question also, because what this has thrown light on, and which has sort of made us ask some questions also about where is India in this generative AI race? I mean, you look at the top technology companies, the top IT companies in India, they're sitting on a lot of cash. They're sitting on a lot of cash reserves. Where is India in this race for coming up with the latest generative AI model?
Look, Zakka, it's a good question, and if you're looking at the IT companies to do any frontier AI work, I think you and I will be wasting our time. They certainly have not been upfront or heading the charge into startup and innovation over the last 5 to 7 years. They've been very comfortable with their business model, and almost everything that we see in the Indian innovation ecosystem is first generation entrepreneurs going out there and building these world standard innovations with great valuations and so on and so forth, and attracting investment and creating jobs. I think if we are looking to the future of India, and certainly I had the opportunity as minister for 3.5 years to engage with the younger startup community. The action is going to come from the startup community, the youngsters, the young students, the young PhDs who are today learning and practicing the field of AI. And I would not now start declaring winners and losers on AI just yet, Zakka. These are early days. You can argue that India is maybe 6 months behind, 8 months behind, as the case may be. DeepSeek was only founded in 2023. That's just a year ago. So we are really, if we look at the next 2 to 3 years as the defining years for AI, I am willing to stick my neck out and predict that there will be a number of Indian companies that will be in this space fairly rapidly. The Prime Minister has already announced a 20,000 crore India AI mission early in 2024. And I suspect that as that is getting implemented, you will see India also with a footprint and a flag in this whole battlefield for the AI, if you want to call it that.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Rajeev Chandrasekhar, for joining us and explaining that issue very succinctly for our viewers, and also putting into a global context where we are in the global AI race. All right, let's move on to our second big focus on the show tonight. A bitter political battle is being fought in Delhi ahead of voting on February 5th. In fact, the Delhi dangal seems to have taken a poisonous discourse. AAP and Arvind Kejriwal have accused neighbouring BJP-ruled Haryana of releasing contaminated water into Delhi. In fact, Mr. Kejriwal went on to accuse the BJP of attempting to commit genocide of the people of Delhi that the Aam Aadmi Party government has blocked. Now, both the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party have knocked on the doors of the Election Commission. They are demanding the EC's intervention. The Delhi government has claimed that Haryana poisoned the water coming into Delhi, while the Haryana government says there is simply no basis for such a bizarre allegation. The Delhi Jal Board too has confirmed that Aam Aadmi Party's claims are factually incorrect. Sharpening its attack, the AAP alleged that this could have caused mass genocide in Delhi. In defense, the Haryana government has said that AAP is misleading the people of Delhi. The Delhi Jal Board has also claimed there is no factual basis for the allegations that have been made. Arvind Kejriwal raised the alarm over the water quality in Yamuna, claiming that contamination is so severe that existing treatment plants are unable to purify the water. In response, the Haryana government has said that they would never harm such an important resource. The Delhi government further accused the BJP of putting the lives of Delhi residents at risk by allegedly allowing this contamination, in retaliation to which the Haryana government has demanded an apology and said that if not, they will take legal action and file a defamation suit.
दिल्ली के लोगों को पीने का पानी हरियाणा और उत्तर प्रदेश से मिलता है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी की हरियाणा की सरकार ने दिल्ली में यमुना से आने वाले पानी में जहर मिला के भेज दिया है।
हजारों करोड़ का भ्रष्टाचार कर दिल्ली की जनता को धोखा दिया, मगर इसके किसी भी बयान में जनता को भरोसा नहीं।
केजरीवाल जी जो भी मन में आता है कह देते हैं। पहले आए थे, छोटी सी गाड़ी थी, कहा था नए तरीके की राजनीति करूंगा। इलेक्ट्रिक पोल पर चढ़ गए थे, याद होगा आपको, याद है कि दिल्ली को बदल देंगे। और जब गरीबों को जरूरत पड़ी तो कहीं नहीं दिखे वो। जब दिल्ली में हिंसा हुई कहीं नहीं दिखे वो। और कहा था कि साफ राजनीति लाऊंगा और सबसे बड़ा लिकर का स्कैम दिल्ली में हुआ है। केजरीवाल जी महल में रहते हैं, शीश महल में रहते हैं, तो ये सच्चाई है।
All right, let's open this up to our political guests. Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP, is here in our studios. Mahima Singh, spokesperson of the Congress, and Akshay Marathe, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Akshay Marathe, let me start with you. It's a very, very serious and very bizarre allegation, some would say, of no less than Mr. Kejriwal, your party's convener, former chief minister, to make, saying that the Haryana government is indulging in water terrorism. They are undertaking mass genocide in Delhi by polluting the water, by increasing ammonia. What basis is he saying this on?
Zakka, I think it's important to understand that a large majority of Delhi's water, drinking water, comes from the Yamuna, and it is collected at the point at which the Yamuna enters Delhi from Haryana, and it is treated in a water treatment plant and then supplied all across Delhi. Now, Delhi's existing water treatment plants can only process water that has ammonia up to around 1.5 to 2 ppm inside the water. Right now, Haryana is releasing water into Delhi that has 6 to 7 ppm of ammonia. This is something that is untenable for Delhi's water treatment plants to be able to process and supply clean drinking water to the people
But Akshay,
of Delhi.
the Aam Aadmi Party said the same thing in October of 2024, blaming Haryana for ammonia mixing in Yamuna. They said the same thing in November 2024, saying the BJP is polluting the Yamuna. It's a deliberate conspiracy. I mean, you can't keep saying this every 6 months.
If Haryana can keep mixing ammonia in its water every 6 months, then why can't we say it? Are we supposed to just drink that ammonia water? Ammonia is one of the biggest causes of carcinogens in our water today.
So what happened? What happened to the ammonia that got released in May 24, in October 24, in November 24?
No, it is because Arvind Kejriwal raises an alarm when Haryana government does this kind of mischief to deny the people of Delhi water. That is why Haryana has to step in and prevent it from happening.
Okay,
and it's not rocket science.
Charu Pragya, to respond that your government is hell-bent on committing mass genocide in Delhi. Water terrorism is the word that was used by the Aam Aadmi Party.
Now listen to this language, Zakka, and I want all our viewers to listen to it too. BJP सरकार जहर मिला रही है. आप सबको मारना चाहती है, किसी का भला नहीं चाहती है. This kind of language can only come from a person who is hell bent on fear mongering. None of these statements are backed by any kind of fact at all, as stated by the CEO of Delhi Jal Board herself. She said very categorically, clearly, that the claims made by Arvind Kejriwal are factually incorrect. It is fear mongering and it is going to promote anarchy in the days to come. Is that what you expect from a serious, responsible leader in our country? Forget what political party he comes from. Now, my problem with Aam Aadmi Party has become is that every single day they look for one distracting statement after another so they can deviate the attention of the people and the media from the real issues of Delhi. From the fact that Delhi does not have water to drink, air to breathe, decent places to stay in. We are sinking when it rains. We are struggling to breathe when it is winters. And whose fault is it? You talk about education, you've made zero new schools. You talk about healthcare, but the situation of healthcare is so bad in Delhi that again you've done nothing except scam after scam in the name of Mohalla clinics, whether it was the lab testing thing, whether it was X-ray. So the situation today is, and I would urge every single participant of this entire fiasco that Aam Aadmi Party has become, that please refrain from doing fear mongering, because
so, Akshay, respond before I go to Mahima Singh. So Akshay,
and I will explain about the ammonia levels too, Zakka. You'll have to give me another minute to explain about ammonia in Yamuna.
By that same token, when you're saying Haryana is polluting Delhi's water, one can accuse Punjab of polluting Delhi's air. Everybody knows the stubble burning is happening in Punjab. In fact, you promised you'll stop stubble burning in Punjab when you come to power. What have you done? So Punjab is poisoning Delhi's air.
I think, Zakka, it's important to understand that what the BJP spokesperson was saying, that the DJB CEO apparently has said that Arvind Kejriwal's statement is false. I'm reading from the same DJB CEO's letter. She says in her letter, DJB water treatment plants are designed to treat the ammonia up to 1 ppm. I said 1.5 to 2. She's saying only 1 ppm. And in her own letter, she's admitting presently the ammonia.
So anyone who doesn't agree with you is BJP basically. Is that it, Akshay?
Please don't interrupt me. Either you have factual evidence to dispute.
No, I have factual evidence and I will come to it. Zakka is going to allow me another minute to explain.
Presently, the ammonia is around 6.5 ppm in river Yamuna at Wazirabad Pond. Despite dilution with CLC and DSB water, DJB water treatment plants could not be operated on full capacity. This is the DJB CEO's letter who you are quoting, as if it is claiming that Arvind Kejriwal is
Charu, respond.
Now I am going to...
Can you now clarify? Can you drink water?
Yes, I'm clarifying.
Clarify.
Now let me begin by... Akshay. Now, let me first tell you, and I would explain in the same way to a kindergartner, anyone who doesn't agree with Aam Aadmi Party's lies is not BJP. People are allowed to state their truth, and if they don't agree with you, it doesn't mean you label them. As explained, 220 kilometers is the distance water travels from the Hathni Kund barrage to Wazirabad barrage. And during that distance, that is the point from which now, Akshay, please allow me to explain this. I think you missed this. 1 minute. Akshay, hang on. Understand this. So, in this entire distance, when water enters Delhi, the contamination is near zero. But what happens once this water is in Delhi? Because of the way you've been running things, because of the way you have literally siphoned off 8,000 crores given to your government by the central government to clean the Yamuna, situation is so bad that there is no clean water. In fact, the water which goes back into Haryana, into Faridabad, into Mewat and Palwar is terribly contaminated.
I also want to go to Mahima Singh. Mahima Singh, no, 1 second. The moot point is that I think this was a couple of days back when Yogi Adityanath was campaigning here. He said, look at what's happening at the Sangam in Prayagraj.
Yeah?
13 crore people up to today have taken a dip at the Sangam. He challenged Arvind Kejriwal to take a dip in the Yamuna. Is the Aam Aadmi Party saying all of this ammonia stuff, which they said in May 24, which they said in October 24, and repeated in November 24, again now, just before the elections, because that is the moot point. Can anyone today take a dip in the Yamuna? I mean, Chhat Puja, we saw a couple of months back, people taking a dip in the Yamuna in that frothing water. That's the moot issue. The issue is whether it's the state government or the central government the funds to clean up the Yamuna, I don't know where it's gone. The Yamuna is probably the dirtiest river in all of India. One second, let Mahima Singh respond.
I can answer your
question. One second, sir, I have one more spokesperson. You're not the only spokesperson on the show. Please, thank you.
But the questions are being
raised
to me.
One second, sir. Let me decide, how I do my show. Akshay, thank you. Mahima Singh.
Jai Hind. Zakka, in fact, both the parties appear to be resorting to the skullduggery of the worst kind. And I think it's the worst farce that can be played upon the voters of Delhi. Both the parties are helmed by A-grade liars as their leaders. It's not a hidden fact. And I think at this point in time, this point in this election, both the parties have completely foregone all abstention from immorality for the sake of power, for staking the future of Delhiites, indeed. You know, when you are talking about Ganges, let me tell you, I think data is out on that as well, and we have been asking questions on that, the Ganges cleaning has also become it's been a scam, and we've been asking questions on that. Both the parties, Aam Aadmi Party is guilty of leveraging Yamuna for their political gains, while the BJP is guilty of betraying the holy Ganges.
No,
Both the
ma'am,
parties
let me
have
ask you a straight question. Do you believe in what your alliance partner is saying, that BJP government in Haryana is poisoning the water of Yamuna? Or is that a diversionary tactic? Is that a bizarre allegation? What is the Congress party's position, ma'am? I'm asking you that straight.
The Aam Aadmi Party is not our ally in Delhi for this election, and I think that's evidently clear by now. Let's not project it otherwise. And I think when it comes to the issue of Yamuna or the Ganga, we have been calling a spade, and not only now, for all these years. We remember the dead bodies floating across holy Ganges during the times of COVID when Delhi was gasping for air. So you see, both these parties are guilty, and in fact, it is the farce of the worst kind. It is frivolous when the BJP spokesperson talks about language, talks about fear-mongering. No doubt that the Aam Aadmi Party former Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal used vocabulary of a kindergarten child when he said "Paap chadhega tumko." But on the other side, there is this BJP spokesperson that's talking about fear-mongering when their leaders have been talking about goli maro salon ko, and
this is not so much about the language that leaders are using. Yeah. But Charu Pragya, the question that can be asked is, if the Sangam can be cleaned up, why can't you clean up the Yamuna? Why are you saying that, we gave money to Kejriwal? Okay, fine, he's not able to clean it up. You clean it up.
Absolutely. And Zakka, that's exactly why we are saying now, and we say it with a lot of confidence, that on the 5th of Feb, when the people of Delhi vote, they're going to vote for Bharatiya Janata Party, because we walked the talk. Now tell me, the amounts of money that have gone missing from the state of Delhi are massive. 8,000 crore was a very big number. That kind of money would have made a real difference. In fact, every single promise that Kejriwal has made, whether it is getting rid of open wires overhead in the city of Delhi, to making sure the city does not clog up when it rains, to ensuring you are able to go and take a dip in the Yamuna during the festival of Chhat, every single thing has fallen flat and
what
failed.
about Namami Gange? We were promised that you can take a boat ride all the way from Delhi to Banaras. Can you do that?
Yes, and steadily that is happening, Zakka. As you can see, when 45 crore people are visiting Prayagraj today, nobody is coming back and complaining of any kind of mismanagement, and that can be done with the correct intention.
Akshay,
the problem in Delhi is there is no intention.
The
problem in Delhi is...
I've heard enough.
Akshay,
no, you haven't actually, Akshay, because I have barely started.
You have been spewing lies and hatred against Aam
Allow
Aadmi Party.
me an intervention, Zakka.
Yeah, one second. Let Akshay.
1,000 crores, let's talk
Akshay, the point is, air pollution is somebody else's problem. Water cleaning up the Yamuna is somebody else's problem.
Zakka,
if Delhi does not have enough electric buses, that is somebody else's problem. Is there anything that the Aam Aadmi Party is going to take responsibility for?
Zakka, you probably don't know the facts. Delhi has the highest number of
Let him answer.
Delhi has the highest number of electric buses in the whole country. Delhi has done the most to reduce air pollution, to reduce water pollution, to improve our condition of education, of healthcare, of all kinds.
Did you say Delhi has done the most to reduce air pollution?
No. I'll tell you, we removed all thermal power plants from Delhi. We stopped all kinds of construction that was happening during the October-November months. We added solar power to a large number of government buildings.
You know what the AQI has been through November, December, and even much of January. I mean,
Zakka, I request you when you ask me a question, you give me 1 or 2 minutes of uninterrupted time.
I'm happy to do that, but let's please not. Akshay, please, let's not belittle the intelligence of our viewers, but at least the ones who are in Delhi. AQI in Delhi has gone to the dogs for the last many years now. So let's not please say that air pollution has, Aam Aadmi Party has solved air pollution problem in Delhi, because you've not.
Zakka, first of all, you sit in a Noida studio in Uttar Pradesh. What is your AQI? Do you know what your AQI is?
Boss, I live in the national capital region. I breathe this air.
Noida,
I breathe this air.
In Uttar Pradesh, your AQI is worse than Delhi.
I have a child who's grown up in this air. I have every right to ask this question.
You have every right to ask the question to BJP, because BJP.
I stay in the national capital region for the last 10 years. Between AAP and BJP, I've been hearing the same thing, Akshay.
Then you come to us to ask us questions. Now let me finish. First of all, let's understand the reality of Yamuna pollution. There are 4 main sources of pollution. Number 1 is a Najafgarh drain that brings all the sewage from Haryana into Yamuna. Number 2 is the
everything is everyone's problem, but Akshay is an Aam Aadmi Party, and I'll tell you why. No, one second, Akshay.
One second. Let me finish. I'll come to you. So Najafgarh drain is the reason why in Mayur Vihar people are taking a dip in a frothing Yamuna.
Zakka, if you don't give me an
I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
You can keep asking questions. Why don't you take over the debate? Keep asking.
I'm asking. My job is to ask questions. Please answer.
I try to answer one question.
Please answer.
Start with the second question.
Please answer. Why is the Yamuna not clean? You've been in power for 10 years. Why is the Yamuna not clean?
I'm going to start my stopwatch. For 2 minutes, you will not ask me a counter question.
No. That's not. You don't need to tell me how to do my job.
Okay.
Answer the question.
Okay,
answer the question.
Shut up.
I asked you, why is the Yamuna not clean? You've been in power for 10 years. Please tell me.
Okay, when are you going to ask the second question?
No, I'm not.
How many seconds?
Do you have an answer?
Do
you have an answer, or are you going to evade?
Are you going to give me
people of Delhi are watching you, Akshay Marathe. Are you going to evade an answer?
If you let me speak for
I'm waiting.
2 minutes.
1,
okay, thank you.
2,
thank
3,
you. Number
4,
1, the
5,
Najafgarh drain
6.
pollutes the Yamuna, and the NGT had to fine the Haryana government, and they were forced to construct a different pipeline to stop the sewage from Haryana
what is the next
to
point?
go into Yamuna. Number 2, the Uttar Pradesh sends its entire sewage into the Yamuna where it enters Delhi. Now these are things
number
that
3?
have happened before Aam Aadmi Party.
No, number 3. Is there any other reason?
Can you shut up for 1 minute?
What language are you using, man?
No, why
You're
don't
on national
why
television.
Don't you just keep quiet and let
you
me
are
speak?
a spokesperson of a national party. What language are you using?
Okay, I think this is
Akshay,
pointless, Zakka.
please.
If you are going to keep interrupting
you have
me,
no business using foul language on national television.
There is no point.
It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me. It's the water of a duck's back.
There is no point
in
inviting Aam Aadmi Party if you are not going to let me speak.
Go on. I asked. You said 2 reasons. Do you have any more reasons?
I am coming to it. If you don't interrupt
You've taken 5 minutes coming to it. Quickly tell me, do you have any more reasons? These are the 2 reasons why Yamuna is polluted, right?
You should introspect on how you conduct your debates.
Really?
Okay, number 3.
I've done this for 20 years. Okay, go on. Third.
And you've done it very poorly.
I'm sorry, I don't need a certificate from you, but go on.
I don't need a certificate from you either.
I'm asking questions on behalf of the people of Delhi. Do you have an answer?
You're asking questions on behalf of BJP.
I'm asking questions on behalf of the people of Delhi. Please tell me, don't make these personal side shots and pot shots. I don't care about it. Do you have a reason number 3? Because otherwise I'm going to the next spokesperson.
Number 3. The third biggest source of the pollution in Yamuna is the sewage that is generated in the 1700 unauthorized colonies in Delhi, for which Aam Aadmi Party government was the first government to lay 6,500 kilometers of sewage pipelines.
Okay.
That
any
is
other
the most
reason?
important
Number
step
4.
we have taken to reduce the pollution in Yamuna.
Is there any other reason? Number 4, number 5, any other reason?
Okay. Now can I finish the third reason?
No, you just said unauthorized colonies. Okay, third reason. Any other 4th or 5th reason do you have?
Can I now finish?
No, you don't have any other reason, na? These are the 3 reasons. Najafgarh Nala, UP ka Nala, and unauthorized colonies. So,
And
band kar
I'm
do na.
telling you what we
30% of water from for Delhi is coming from Uttar Pradesh. 60% of water for Delhi is coming from Haryana. End it. Khatam kar do. Why? Charu pragya.
So,
Band kar do na.
the crux of the entire argument of Aam Aadmi Party is
UP is responsible, Haryana
it's
is
everybody's
responsible.
fault but their own, right? They say when they want to do good work, it is stopped. But nobody stopped you from building the Sheesh Mahal, which means you can do work when you want to. You, in fact, went out of your way to pass the Delhi liquor policy, taking post facto cabinet approval also. So, obviously, when you want to do something, you are able to pull it off. In the name of Mohalla Clinic, 65,000 plus fake tests were conducted, ghost tests were conducted. So, you were able to pull that off as well. You are able to pay more than 25 crore from our money, the exchequer's money, to fight off the scam cases which are on your leaders for the Delhi liquor scam. The money you are not paying from your personal pockets. That's the money of Delhi people that you are using. So, when
Okay.
you want to do something, you are able to manage it. But when we question you about the welfare of the people of Delhi, it's everybody's fault but your own. So, we are saying this very clearly. आपसे वैसे भी manage नहीं हो जाएगा, कोई बात
I
नहीं.
am leaving
Bow out and
I
leave.
am leaving this to the viewers to decide. I don't care about anyone saying anything, you know, attacks, personal attacks, side shots, pot shots. You can do whatever the hell you want. I don't care about this. I've done this for far too long to be expecting certificates from any political party. I leave it to the viewers to decide who is responsible for Delhi's problems: air pollution, water pollution, traffic problems, infrastructure problems. Whatever your problems are, you can decide on the 5th of February who is responsible for it. Thank you very much to all our spokespersons for joining us. I want to move on now to the next part of the program and our next story right here on Brass Tacks. It's a renewed boost to India-US ties. President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Modi have had a telephone conversation last night, and President Trump has revealed to reporters that Prime Minister Modi is likely to visit the US as early as February. In a call that was tagged as quote-unquote productive by both the White House and by the MEA, the two leaders discussed a range of issues including the Indo-Pacific, the Middle East, and what is happening, of course, in the Russia-Ukraine war. This phone call came in the backdrop of Trump's policy of America first, even threatening tariffs on countries that would prove to be detrimental. President Trump has emphasized the importance of India increasing its procurement of American-made security equipment and then moving towards a fairer bilateral trading relationship. So India and the US have been strong collaborators when it comes to defense partnership, and over the last few years, India has witnessed major defense sales from the US. Some of the biggest ones include the 130J Super Hercules, which is a 4-engine turboprop military transport aircraft. There's also the C-17 Globemaster, again, a large military transport aircraft. The P-8I Poseidons, which are maritime surveillance aircraft and patrol and reconnaissance aircraft. The CH-47F Chinooks, which are heavy-lift tandem rotor helicopters. The MH-60R Seahawks, which are again naval helicopters, a twin turboshaft multi-mission engine. The Apaches, the AH-64E, which again are twin turboshaft helicopters, and the Harpoon anti-ship missiles, which are used by the Indian Navy. It's an all-weather, over-the-horizon anti-ship missile. So all of this is what India and the United States have had joint partnerships, or India has decided to buy American-made military equipment. Since 2008, India has signed defense deals worth $20 billion from the US, signaling a growing military partnership which is aimed at modernizing India's defense capabilities. In the year 2023, both countries launched what is called the Bilateral Defense Acceleration Ecosystem, which is a strategic initiative designed to accelerate the development, production, and the integration of defense technologies. In 2023, General Electric proposed to produce the F414 jet engines here in India, which is crucial for enhancing India's fighter jet capabilities. It was supposed to be a technology transfer between GE and HAL. Also, another landmark deal in that same visit, the state visit the Prime Minister made in June 2023, the purchase of 31 MQ-9B drones, the Predator drones and the unmanned aerial vehicles from the United States for $4 billion. In 2024, the US notified Congress of the planned sale of 30 advanced radio systems, which will improve India's military communications. The US has also offered India the purchase of advanced combat aircraft, which would further strengthen India's air force capabilities. In fact, Donald Trump and Prime Minister Modi's rapport could help bolster the defense relationship. President Trump has often had praise for India and for India's Prime Minister. He said that during the campaign as well.
The life of Prime Minister Modi underscores the limitless promise of this great nation. You are living proof that with hard work and devotion, Indians can accomplish anything, anything at all, anything they want.
Modi, India. Yeah. He's a friend of mine, he's great. But on the outside, he looks like he's your father. He's the nicest, total killer. Modi is fantastic. I mean, fantastic man. A lot of these leaders are fantastic. They are at the top. You know the expression, they're at the top of their game.
So that possible meeting at the White House between President Trump and Prime Minister Modi could happen as soon as February, is what President Trump indicated to reporters. We'll take a break here on the program. When we come back, when President Trump won that re-election, he came to office promising to end all wars, both the one in Israel, Hamas in Gaza, and the one in Ukraine between Russia and Ukraine. But the famed deal maker that he is, the man who wrote The Art of the Deal, can he cut a deal between Russia and Ukraine? Why would Ukraine accept a treaty or an end to this war, which involves giving up to 20% of its territory with no NATO membership? I decode that on the other side of this break.
शाम से इस जगह पर रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन हो रहा है। बुराड़ी में कल रात तकरीबन 7 बजे एक 4 मंजिला इमारत गिर गई और उसके बाद से लेकर अब तक राहत और बचाव का काम चल रहा है। इस वक्त सीधी तस्वीरें मैं आपको दिखाती हूँ। ये जो तस्वीरें आप देख रहे हैं, ये टॉप एंगल शॉट्स हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं न्यूज़ 18 इंडिया पर कि किस तरीके से ये पूरी बिल्डिंग जो है वो ढह गई। और आप फिलहाल देख सकते हैं कि तकरीबन 4 से 5 जेसीबी है जिनकी मदद से मलबे को हटाने का काम यहाँ पर किया जा रहा है। और साथ ही साथ आप देखेंगे दूसरी तरफ एनडीआरएफ के जो लोग हैं वो लोग हाथ से भी मलबे को हटाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। यहाँ से तकरीबन 13 लोगों को रेस्क्यू कर लिया गया है और जिसमें से बताया जा रहा है कि 2 लोगों की मौत भी हो गई है। और ऐसे में फिलहाल जो यहाँ पर काम चल रहा है वो मलबे को हटाकर क्या कोई और लोग नीचे दबे हो सकते हैं, उनकी खोजबीन को लेकर चल रहा है। और फिलहाल 13 लोगों का रेस्क्यू किया गया है। उसके बाद से कोई रेस्क्यू फिलहाल होता हुआ नजर नहीं आया है, लेकिन अब ये मलबा हटाने के बाद ये देखा जाएगा कि कोई इसके अंदर तो नहीं फंसा हुआ है। अब तक 2 लोगों की मौत की खबर यहां से आ रही।
डरोगे क्या ऊपर से? आ गए? हाँ?
2 लोगों की डेथ हो गई तो उसको अपडेटेड कर दो।
ऑफिशियली नहीं हुआ ना।
और उन्होंने कुछ बोल ही पाए थे बिल्डिंग में, तुरंत हम भागे
देखिए अभी चुनाव का माहौल है। विधायक संजीव
कल शाम से इस जगह पर रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन हो रहा है। बुराड़ी में कल रात तकरीबन 7 बजे एक 4 मंजिला इमारत गिर गई और उसके बाद से लेकर अब तक राहत और बचाव का काम चल रहा है। इस वक्त सीधी तस्वीरें मैं आपको दिखाती हूँ। ये जो तस्वीरें आप देख रहे हैं, ये टॉप एंगल शॉट्स हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं न्यूज़ 18 इंडिया पर कि किस तरीके से ये पूरी
The recent statements made by US President Donald Trump regarding the ongoing conflict in Ukraine have reignited discussions about a potential meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. During his virtual address at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Trump emphasized the urgent need to end the Ukraine war. He said he would really like to be able to meet with President Putin soon to get this war ended. He had tweeted about how it is ridiculous that this war, which never should have started in the first place, is still continuing with such a large number of casualties on both sides. Trump's announcement comes amidst the backdrop of rising tensions and escalating military actions by Russia inside Ukraine. It does raise very serious questions about the feasibility and the implications of such a meeting. And then, of course, there is the question of what happens if Trump and Putin were to actually meet and then they fail to arrive at a deal. On Crux Decode, can Trump succeed where Biden failed in ending the Ukraine war? What may be the possible contours of a deal between Ukraine and Russia? And why would Zelensky and Ukraine accept any deal which involves giving up a fifth of Ukrainian territory without any NATO membership or any NATO security guarantees in return? Now, Trump's latest tweet and public statements reflect a significant shift in tone when it comes to the Ukraine conflict. He suggested that peace efforts are underway and expressed a desire for immediate discussions with Putin to halt what he described as the carnage on the battlefield. Trump has also indicated he believes that economic factors, particularly oil prices, play a crucial role in prolonging this conflict. He argues that lowering oil prices could lead to an immediate end to the hostilities between Russia and Ukraine. He in fact even urged Saudi Arabia, as the lead member of OPEC, to bring down oil prices if they want to end this war. The prospect of a peace deal raises several critical questions about the terms and conditions that might be acceptable both to Russia and to Ukraine. Currently, Russia occupies approximately about 20% of Ukrainian territory. Any settlement would likely involve complex negotiations over territorial integrity and sovereignty. While Trump has hinted at a willingness from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to consider a deal, it remains highly unclear whether or not Ukraine will accept significant territorial concessions or even abandon its NATO aspirations. Ukraine's leadership has consistently said that it will not concede any territory, but under immense pressure for continuing military losses and economic strain, there may be room for a potential compromise. Russia insists on retaining control over the territories that it currently occupies, specifically in the east, Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia. Putin has said that Ukraine must recognize these areas as part of Russia. Ukraine's NATO aspirations are also another point of contention. While NATO membership has been a long-term goal for Kiev, any peace deal might require Ukraine to forego this ambition. For Ukraine to consider any territorial concessions, it would likely demand robust international security guarantees, possibly involving NATO troops or other forms of military support to deter any future Russian aggression. That too is a no-go area for Russia. A central demand from Russia is that Ukraine formally abandon its aspirations for NATO membership and give up any kind of NATO security guarantees. That would also require constitutional amendments to enshrine Ukraine's neutral status and also to stop it from entering any possible military alliance with NATO or any other Western country. On the Russian side, President Vladimir Putin faces significant economic and military pressures, and that could influence his willingness to come to the negotiating table. The ongoing conflict has drained Russia's resources. By some estimates, more than 700,000 Russian troops have died. That is leading to increased domestic unrest. There are also economic sanctions that have been imposed by Western nations, which are beginning to bite. The Kremlin's ability to sustain its military operations, which is really pulling out a lot of its resources, killing a lot of its soldiers, that is being tested severely as the casualties rise and public support wanes. Western sanctions have severely impacted the Russian economy. It has limited Russia's access to international markets and to international technology. The economic strain may push Putin towards negotiations as he seeks some relief. The Russian economy is expected to contract by 1.5% this year amid a global slowdown. There are also growing signs of dissatisfaction within Russia regarding this prolonged conflict. In fact, next month, this war would reach 3 years since it began. Economic hardships faced by ordinary Russians could lead to increased pressure on Putin, both from the public as well as from the country's political elites. A key aspect of any peace deal would likely include provisions for investigating and prosecuting war crimes that have been committed during this conflict. Ukraine would also seek accountability for the actions taken by Russian forces. It would also want to advocate for the release of all prisoners deported to Russia during this conflict. The current military situation presents challenges for both sides. A protracted conflict without a decisive victory for either side could lead to calls for a negotiated settlement. While Putin has modernized Russia's nuclear arsenal, he's even threatened to use it during this conflict, there's also an understanding in the Kremlin that escalation could only lead to catastrophic consequences. This reality...
Greenland Laminates presents CNN News 18 Primetime Studio.
We're live from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio, brought to you by Greenland Laminates. Viewers, the health of a democracy, and I don't need to tell you this, is also measured by the quality of its opposition. And it is on this point that we, the voters, need to be very